In this tutorial I'll show you how to create a simple kinematic system in ASOM version 7 by using the coordinate input. For this I'll first make sure that the panel properties is visible, and then I'll choose the tab in the menu ribbon where the kinematic elements are grouped. Now I'll activate the auxiliary grid and choose a reasonable value for grid resolution. On the canvas you can now see the grid just as I configured it. Now I'll click on the canvas once just to be sure it is in focus. I'll choose the kinematic element bar, and in the panel properties an input mask appears for numerical coordinate input. By pressing the hotkey Ctrl+K I can now enter the values I want. By pressing Tab I move through the input fields until I arrive at the N button for next, where I finish my input for the first point by pressing Enter. Just as is described here, I'll now place the first joint of the second bar directly on an already existing joint to extend my kinematic system. Please note, do not move the mouse while inputting coordinates by keyboard, because that would override the values you are entering. For placing a fixed bearing, no additional coordinates are needed since only existing joints can be fixed that way. For a floating bearing, on the other hand, you can once again use the coordinate input as an alternative. Here I am placing a floating bearing directly on one of the joints, and I only have to input the angle of the bearing numerically. Now I'll just add a drive to the system and animate the system with the slider in the footer. In the same way as for kinematic elements, the numerical input can also be used for graphical elements. For practice, I recommend that you try and place various kinematic and graphical elements on the canvas using hotkeys and the coordinate input. Thanks for watching.